There is a brand new mining operating system available for your GPU mining rigs and ASICs that builds on the successes of previous systems and looks to be the mining operating system of the future. So let's take a look at it. Now you might be thinking, why in the world do I need a new mining operating system, or why do I need to switch from what seems to be working now? And I'll be honest, I can relate. You know, I think we all can in some levels there. There's always a steady, unrelenting flow of new hardware and software on the market. We all know this. We've been in tech for a while probably, so you've seen it, you experience it, you buy something, the very next week something new comes out. This is especially true for software, since developers are able to update the software as time goes on to meet the needs and wants of their users. It really just never stops. And it takes something that truly benefits the end user before they'll be convinced to step out of their comfort zone and change to something new. In this live stream, I'm going to be talking about the new Hashr8 OS, how to install it and get it up and running on a GPU mining rig. If you find this content useful or entertaining at least, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. And welcome to SavageMine. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I talk about crypto over there and keep you up to date with what's going on the channel, on the YouTube channel. And just a real quick reminder, none of my videos are sponsored in any way whatsoever. It's just me pressing go live and chatting about projects I'm interested in, and that's it. This means you'll always get an open and honest, information from me. I like it that way. It means I don't blindly follow a project out of some hidden reason for loyalty, right? The Hashr8 team, Bitcoin Broski, Crypto Christopher Walken, Mean Hash, and Wellbear Man. I think there might be a few others. If I'm leaving them out, just throw them in the comments over there if somebody's watching that knows. But these guys have no idea I'm doing this live stream other than whenever I announced it. That was whenever they found out. So this is legit. This is not me talking about something because you know, I'm supported in some way. Anyway, so let's get to it. Let me check the chat before we get started to see what's going on over here. What's up, Jay Bohannon? What's up, Nefarious? Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. All right, so let's dig into this. If you were to close your eyes and envision the ideal mining OS, what exactly would you see? Maybe important statuses and data that you don't have to dig through several screens to get to. Maybe a color scheme that's easy on the eyes, an interface that's easy to use on web and mobile. Maybe even a contextual help feature available on every screen in the interface. How about a development team that listens to what their community of users wants? All those things sound really great. Hashr8 OS was designed by miners for miners, so many of these things are already included. Now, this can be interpreted as both a positive and a negative in some ways. For example, you really wouldn't want your vehicle to be designed by mechanics for mechanics. Or your mining OS designed by developers for developers. However, in the case of Hashr8 OS, it looks like they are doing it right, using skilled development to bring their vision to life. So they also have Discord, and over on Discord, you know, you have to keep in mind that this is a brand new OS, and it's still being tweaked and fixed up based on user feedback. Issues are being discussed in the active Hive. Wow, I can't believe I said that. It starts with an H. In the active Hashr8 OS Discord, and it seems like the Hashr8 team continues to listen to recommendations and suggestions from users, since they themselves are also miners and they just get it. One thing I noticed right away that I liked is the effort on the mobile apps. This is something that every other mining OS seems to ignore or overlook for the most part. Yeah, I mean, those other interfaces on those other systems are decent, but that's just because their normal website seems to function all right on mobile. With Hashr8 OS, it seems like they took the time to design the website and a mobile app interface to work well together. With the app pulling the data off the website and organizing it in a logical manner, it just makes sense for a slick interface that's easy to use. The app is available on both iOS and on both iOS and on Android. So it's available on both. And let's go ahead and look at the Android version here, because that's what I have. I also have an emulator here, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and install the app really fast, hopefully really fast. So if we do a search for Hashr8 OS, and you have to actually, what I discovered is you kind of have to type in the whole thing in order to get to it. If you just type in Hashr8 with the 8, it doesn't seem to find it very easily. I don't know if that's same across all devices, but it just seemed that way on this. So I'm going to choose Hashr8 OS, install. So this is what it would look like on mobile. Okay, that's what I'm going through here. This is just an emulator on the computer here to show you. And we're going to do more. This is just real quick on the the mobile version here. Okay, so that we're at the logon screen there, so that's what we want. So now let's look at the rig install. The actual rig installation method is similar to other mining OSs that run off of a USB or other storage such as SSD or hard drive. You basically create an account on the website, get verified, download the image, burn the image to a drive, make a small edit to a file on the drive to identify the rig it's going on, eject that drive, then boot the rig off of it. You can then monitor and configure your rigs through the web page interface at os.hashr8.com or the mobile app, whichever one. We just saw the mobile app over here. It's basically the same thing. Looks really great. They also have a referral program and many other super cool features that we'll get into probably in future videos. And if you guys are interacting with the chat, I hope the sound is good stuff, but I'm not interacting with the chat because I got to get going here. Let me just check, make sure that everything's okay over there. All right, cool. Appreciate it. Let me get back on track here. Hashr8 OS is designed to meet the needs of the home hobby miner, all the way up to full-blown geographically dispersed mining operations having many rigs or ASICs spread out all over the world. The team focuses on remote management and troubleshooting tools, as well as efficiency, optimization, and reliability. Those are their primary focuses from what I can gather looking into this. The OS currently supports over 600 pools and 50 different miners, but another really cool feature is that it looks like it's quite simple to add your own coins, pools, and miners. This has been a challenge in the past from other previous mining operating systems, where if you had a brand new coin, like a speculative coin that you wanted to mine, it was really difficult to get that integrated into a miner that you're familiar with. If you're on Windows, then it was easy. But if you had any of those other operating systems, it was sometimes a challenge. So this is super cool that they've implemented something like this, because it looks like it's going to be very easy to, well, at least at first sight, it looks like it's going to be very easy. I haven't played around with it that much, but it does look really cool. You can add coins, pools, and miners right in here. If you click on miners and then click add, you basically have, instead of having to point to a a GitHub link, right, to where it tries to identify the miner and all this stuff for you. It's assuming that you have already downloaded it, and I really like that feature. Like, you have the files on your computer that you want to use, the miner executable and all that. That is super cool. Again, I have not played with it. I don't know much more than what I'm showing you right here. I just hope that it is as easy as it looks right here. So I think that is a very cool feature that they've added in here. Like I was saying, this is really really handy for spec mining. You know, these coins that are not already implemented. We'll dive into that we'll dive more into that in later videos if I continue to do content on this, and I probably will, because I find it fascinating and interesting. So yeah, we'll probably do custom mining stuff in the future, so keep that in mind. As far as pricing goes and cost, it's up to 3 rigs are free. Kind of a standard thing there, at least for some. 24/7 customer service, probably through Discord and whatnot. If you're a pro miner, it's only $2 per month per unique device install. So if you have more than 3, if you have 4, you're going to have to pay, I think that this means that you're going to have to pay $2 each. So that would be $8 starting out per month. And then there's other things that you can do if you're a corporate miner, you know, large farms and things like that, 300 plus. So pretty standard information there. Now, as far as the as I was saying earlier, the installation is fairly easy and similar to most other mining operating system installs. The instructions are right here on their website. Just click installation at the top, and it basically walks you through the whole process. Again, you know, you visit the website, you register and get logged in. You download the image. The current version is 1.0.20, and then you have to burn that image to a USB. So you would insert the USB. In this case, we're going to be using USB, and you would insert the USB and run Etcher, burn the image to the USB using Etcher. It's now called Balena Etcher. And then while that's going on, you can actually add the rig inside of the dashboard. And then you click dashboard on the menu, and you'll be able to click on the name of your rig that you created and get what's called a rig token. And you can see it right here. It's at the bottom of the screen. There's some other information on here that I got to be careful whenever we get to this part live. I'll probably have to hide this screen because it's got some information on it that I don't want everyone to know. So I have to kind of hide that. But this is what the screen looks like whenever you click on the rig name. Under rigs and rig name, it'll look like this, and it'll have this token at the bottom. But you need to copy that because you have to get it into the token.txt file on the USB drive once it's burned, once the image is done copying over there. So, and then you'll just eject your drive and plug it into the rig and boot your rig off of it. So let's go through the entire installation process. We're going to be taking a rig that is currently on Hive OS and transfer it over to, not transfer it, but we're going to get it up and running on Hashr8 OS. And check the chat, make sure everything's good in here. What's up, Well Bear Man? Christopher Walken, what's up? I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that are on the roadmap as well. So we'll get into that in a minute. Glad y'all are in here chatting it up. That's good. All right. So the rig that I'm going to use for this evolution here is, I call it Scarif. It is a 10 GPU RX 580 rig. We can probably do NVIDIA as well, but this is the rig that I kind of chose tonight to mess around with. It's actually been off for quite some time, and I wanted to make sure it was still working. So it was actually off for a month while I was working in my office here and doing the painting and all that stuff that I've been doing. So this is the rig that we're going to be using, and we're going to be coming off of Hashr8 OS. And I just wanted to show you that it is up and running right now. It's mining Rio and XMR at the same time. I have videos on that, how to do that if you're interested in that kind of thing. But let's see here. So we're going to take this rig down off of Hashr8 OS, and everything else is off in here, and get it running on Hashr8 OS. So let's go ahead and power this rig off. And I don't think I really need to show you how to get, basically the logon info here. Whenever you click begin, you basically have to click register here, and then come in and fill out what you think is appropriate. I don't know if maybe the guys that are in chat can answer this, but if you have, what are you supposed to put here, like for Telegram? And if you do, is this how your alerts come through, or is this just for later use or something? I don't know. But you would create a logon name, full name. I encourage you to, maintain your privacy here as much as possible. Email, password, confirm, and all that stuff. And then you would click register, and I think it sends you an email. It definitely does. It sends you an email. Be sure to check your junk folders or your spam folders, because it's not, if your system isn't used to receiving an email from this particular website, because I think the actual link is hashr8.com. I think maybe the number and the spelling probably throws it, by default, it might throw it into spam or junk mail folders. So be sure to check those. If you've already clicked this and tried to register and you're not getting the email, be sure to check those folders. All right, so once you click the email, or once you get the email, there's a link in there. Once you click that link, it should validate you and everything, or verify you, and everything should be good. You should be able to log into the website, os.hashr8.com, with that information and access this page that looks like this. Although it'll be blank and it won't have a rig on here just yet. All right, so that's the way that pretty much works. So once you get to this screen, then you're good to go. You're logged into the system, or logged into the interface, and you're ready to add a rig. So in this case, before I get too far here, so I did want to point out on this rig here, I was going to show you what the overclock settings are, and temperatures, but I've already shut it down and stuff like that. But we're going to try to get this, the same settings over into Hashr8 OS. So we'll do that, but I wanted to show you that, what they actually are here. All right, so that's going to be part of the challenge. I believe it was getting, let's see, I did document some of this a little bit earlier on. I think it was, I don't remember, 807 watts. It was getting 7.524 kilohash mining Rio. So we might play around and mine some different things, but we'll see how this all works out. Let me clean up my screens here a little bit. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is add a rig, because you have to tell it what rig what the name of the rig is and stuff like that. You have to add it. So go to rigs over here on the left. You can see how I've already added one that's turned off. You can tell it's off because it's red and all that stuff here. I think that's what that means. And then we're going to click add rig here. Oh, you know what? I should get rid of that little corner. Let me see if I can get rid of that that border. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right, so now you can see the whole thing. All right, so let's add a rig. And again, this was the name of the rig, and I've only done this once, so bear with me if I mess this up. So the name of the rig is Hashr8. See, Hashr8 rig here. Actually, I don't see the name on here, but it's down here at the bottom. Yeah, actually, you can see it right there. All right. And description, I would put SavageMine. I think that the name, it won't accept spaces or anything like that, or it might accept, yeah, or underscores. You can't put underscores or spaces in there, so it has to be just consecutive characters. So you just name it Hashr8 or name it whatever the name is. I put SavageMine, and then I'm going to put AMD because it's an AMD rig. Password, we'll go with, I'm not telling you, but I'm probably going to have to delete this anyway because I'm probably going to make a mistake and show you my rig token or something, so we'll see. All right, the cards quantity, that's what this is. So this rig has 10 RX 580s, and then we're going to click save. All right, so now it's got some default information in here, right? I think yeah, because it comes up with, you know, miners, Claymore, coin is Ethereum, you know, stuff like that. So got to keep all this in mind. Let's see here. So I think if I click on system info, that's where I'm going to get the rig token from. And that is what I'm going to cover up for a second here. Okay, there was no other information in there other than that, so that's good. Yeah, there was, so all I did was I went to that screen, the system info, and clicked on copy for the rig token because that's important. And then actually I could have started the whole, I should have started the whole imaging first, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I was excited here. All right, so I do have that copied. If I go back to dashboard, I can see the rig here. Okay, so all this is great, but now let's back up a little bit because we want to actually go here to download. I got kind of ahead there. So we're going to click on download. It says, do you want to download Hashr8 image? Okay, let's do it. So it's going to come up. I've already downloaded this one. You can see it right here. So we're going to go make sure it's 1.0.20, and it is. Everything's the same, and that's why it's got the little 1 after it. So I'm just going to cancel that, but you would download it. It's only 1 gig. It downloaded very fast. So whatever they're hosting it on, it's super fast. I got it pretty quick. So once you have the image downloaded, I'm just cleaning up my screen a little bit here. You can tell I've done some AION videos recently. All right, so once you have this in your downloads, you've got the image right here. Just ignore all this other stuff. It's not important. I could probably put it in. Let me clean this up a little bit real quick. All right, so now you just got that one image, and that is what you need. Then we need to launch the imaging tool, which in this case is Etcher. Now, it used to just be called Etcher. Now it's called Balena Etcher. And if you go out to, let's see, I think we can get there. Let's see here. Yeah. So if you go to the instructions on the website, it has a link right here. Download Etcher here. So you can open that. And then it says Balena Etcher. Now, I point that out because I guess that Balena bought Etcher or whatever. I don't know what happened on that end. But you used to be able to search, you know, your system just by typing in Etcher, but now you have to actually type in Balena instead of just Etcher. So if you're using the search tools in Windows, you have to, and you want to find the program very fast, you don't have a link to it or whatever, then you have to type in Balena. So anyway, so you would download that for whatever operating system that you have. Looks like they have it for quite a few. We're going to use Windows. I've already downloaded it and installed it, but you would do the same. It does need to run as an admin, of course, so that it can get installed. It is an installed program. I want to say that the old version, before Balena had it, they actually had a portable, right? So you could just download it and run it from an exe. It was a little bit slower to launch, but it was nicer because it's not an installed program. And I think now it looks like you just have to install it. So, all right. So once you get that, then you're going to launch it. Like I said, I have to type in Balena instead of just Etcher. So I'm going to launch that program. So you would have downloaded Etcher and installed it. And then at that point, you would launch it and it would look like this. All right. Then you're going to click on Select Image. And we I had a simple mining rig that I was messing with. And then we have the image that we downloaded. That I downloaded yesterday or the day before. All right, so we're going to select that. Now there's no reason to, you see how it's a zip. You don't have to worry about extracting it or anything. Some people think that you have to actually extract it before you do it. It'll work either way, but you don't have to extract it. The program actually does that for you. So then you have to have a USB drive. In this case, we're going to be using USB. I'm going to be using little cheap, and this is actually not a great thing because cheap USBs sometimes cause problems, but this one is a 32 gig, I think it's called a verbatim store and go or something like that. And I've got a whole bunch of these that I'll number and keep track of, so I know what OS is on each. And we are going to use this drive to burn Hashr8 OS to. All right, so we have to insert the drive. I'm going to put it into a USB 3.0 port. And then we are going to click Select Target. Choose the correct one. Yeah, it's a verbatim store and go 32 gig. So choose that one. And then continue. And here is a little pro tip here. You know how, well, if you've used this program before and you flash it, right? You flash whatever OS it is. Then you need to modify a file on that drive after you get done flashing it. But what it does is software ejects the drive once complete by default. So if you go up here to settings, well, and what I mean is then you can't edit that file without removing and reinserting the USB drive. So it's kind of silly. So you don't want to do that. If you're doing this often, you don't want to have to worry about that part of it. So let's go ahead and click on Tools. And right here, there's a little option that says Eject on Success. So you're going to uncheck that because you don't want it to eject once it's done flashing, right? And if you are if you're trying to do this on an SSD, I believe you have to check unsafe mode, I think. So just keep that in mind too. I always leave that off for now, just so that you don't make any huge mistakes. So yeah, so now with it set like that, eject on success, you'll see that it is not going to eject, and I'll be able to get right in there and edit my file that I need to edit. All right, so verify that this is the right drive, and we're going to click flash. And remember that this erases all the data off of that drive. So if you are using a USB that you're not familiar with, and it might have the single location of some private keys to 1,000 Bitcoin or something, then don't do that because it's gonna wipe it out. So just keep that in mind. I know that this drive is from another operating system, and I can see it over here. It's asking me to format it and stuff, and so I know what it is, and I'm just gonna click flash. So I'm familiar with this drive. I'm gonna click flash. I'll lose you for a second. Probably have you back now. And it just says starting. And I think this goes pretty quick. I don't think it takes very long. So while this is going, that's whenever you would head over, normally you would head over to the website and add your rig like we did. We kind of got ahead. You know, if you do it in those steps, then you're kind of doing it the most efficient way, right? You're getting logged into the website. Then once you're logged into the website, you click download, you grab the image, then you launch Balena, or then you go and install Etcher. Then you launch Etcher. While it's downloading, right? You can do all that while it's downloading if it takes a little while. And then once you launch Etcher, once you start flashing, then you can come back over here and create your rig. So we did it a little bit out of order as far as like max efficiency goes, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna check the chat, see what you guys are up to over here. What's up, Yashnik and Shuby? Dan the Dane's in here. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Yep, already 45% done. So I'm doing this real time so that you can see how long it actually takes to burn the image and everything. Yeah, I see you guys are talking about some SSDs in here. There is no doubt that the best way to go right now because of the price is to just get a cheap SSD. You'll have much less problems. I can't tell you how many times I have to reburn images to these USBs. If silly things happen over time. And USBs aren't designed, or especially the ones I have. Some of them are, but the ones that I have, so the USBs that I have, the cheap ones, they're not designed to be written and read from like all the time, like constantly. And they're just not designed that way. So an SSD is designed for that. So it's much better if you can just get a cheap SSD and use that for your rig. In my opinion, it'll be faster, it'll be more reliable, all those things. I mean, it's super convenient to have it on USB, especially in my case for swapping around like I do, you know, for content and YouTube and all that stuff. Just getting, you know, different OSs on different rigs and all the swapping around that I do, it works really well. But you could almost do the same thing with an SSD. You know, it's a little bit more troublesome, although you could get like a external, like a portable, you know, case and all that stuff and make it a little bit easier too. But it's, you know, it's whatever you really want. But if you want really solid efficiency and reliability, I would go with a cheap SSD. Yeah, I'm not drinking tonight. I have work tomorrow, so. Yeah, and the SSDs are also much faster. And if you are running a miner that requires, you know, like a large portion of the drive to, you know, for whatever reason, for working, right? For the miner to actually work. I can't think of one off the top of my head because, I don't know. Maybe you guys can come up with one that actually, you know, requires space on the drive. Then an SSD would definitely be better for that. All right, so this is done, flash complete. You see that it did not eject the drive, right? So you get the warning that says, do you want to format the drive? And you do not want to format the drive, okay? And what you'll see is you'll have one drive that shows up in here, a new drive, USB drive, if you're on Windows. So it'll look like this. Wait a minute. What's this thing doing? Am I running into a problem here? It looks like it. Because I don't think it's supposed to be G. Here we go. All right, so G is the other drive. All right, so Mining OS is the one that you're actually going to look at. It puts two partitions on the drive. So G is the one you can't read. That's the one with the operating system. The mining OS drive is the one that you want to access. All right. What's up, Daniel Keller? All right. So what you have is I have copied. Remember I copied the rig token from the system info page of the rig. So if you go into the rig, right here there's a link for system, or a tab for system info. If you click that, at the bottom you're going to see a rig token, and it'll look like this right here. This is what the screen looks like whenever you click on it. So you're going to have the rig token at the bottom. They give you a nice little copy button. So you're going to do that. Click the copy button to copy that rig token. Where was I? Oh yeah. So then we're going to go back over here, and you're going to go into the config folder, and then there's going to be a token.txt file in here. So what you'll do is you'll open up that, and it'll be blank. If it's not blank, you got a problem. But it's going to be blank, and then you're going to right click and paste your token into this on its own line. All you'll have in there is the rig token, and that's it. I'm not going to do it on the screen because it's, you know, something you don't want everyone to know. So don't paste screenshots or anything like that with your or don't post screenshots with your rig token showing, because someone could potentially grab your rig and start mining with it. So all right, so all I did was I right clicked, pasted the rig token into the token.txt file, and then I saved it. You have to save it. Okay, if you don't save it, if you choose not to save it, then you haven't changed anything, and that's not going to work. All right, so right now I have the token.txt file in the config folder on the mining OS partition on the USB set to that rig, and that's it. I don't know what you would experience if you added lines or anything like that to the token.txt file other than your rig token. I would imagine that you'll run into problems. Like if you start trying to add spaces or anything in, you know, even on other lines. So I would just make sure that the only thing that is in there is your token, or I'm sorry, your rig token, and that's it. No spaces after it, no spaces on the lines beneath it, all that stuff. So once that's done, you're ready to eject. So I'm going to right click, eject the drive. All right, great. Go back to dashboard over here. Now I'm going to grab the USB out of the USB drive. You heard it come out there, so that's good. So here's the drive that I just burned the image to, and I edited that one file. Now I'm going to plug it into the rig here. It already has a drive on it. I have to get that out of there. I got it. I can't see. All right, so there we go. Then we are going to